Hawks, it is a Monday, and you know what? The one thing that does make Monday a little bit better is talk some sports with our guy, Pep. Pep, what's going on?
Yo, Patrick, bring it on this Monday morning. We got a lot of baseball to get to, NBA playoffs as well, but you know we love us some football here. And, the big news over the weekend was the sudden retirement of Saints quarterback Derek Carr, the former Raiders quarterback, after 11 years in the NFL. So naturally, with Derek Carr retiring, that's another spot in New Orleans where they might need a starting quarterback. So Aaron Rodgers, of course, his name's being, linked to, New Orleans, and maybe Kirk Cousins would leave Atlanta in some sort of a trade. I've heard all kinds of different scenarios, but it's just interesting the timing of this, and Aaron Rodgers still, non-committal if he's going to be a Steeler or a Saint or anything.
Yeah, it was kind of wild, though, that we heard a report that there may be an issue, remember? And he totally denied it and said it's not true. Well, it turns out to be true.
Yeah, a shoulder injury that would require surgery, that he may never get back to where he was. So after 11 years, Derek Carr. And when you look at it stats-wise, he's like one of the best QBs of all time. Unfortunately, he never made a run with the Raiders. He got him to the playoffs, but never made like a playoff run. But stat-wise, man, he had an incredible 11-year career.
Yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda with him for sure.
That was the big NFL news over the weekend. And, of course, it all goes back to Aaron Rodgers because he is the center of the football universe right now. So we will keep you posted. But let's talk some baseball. Man, I knew the Rockies were bad. Patrick, I didn't realize how bad the Rockies were. They are 7-33. That's 7 wins, 33 losses in their first 40 games of the year, which is historically bad. They did beat the Padres on Sunday 9-3, but the Rockies went out and they fired their manager, Bud Black, who's an established, Major League Baseball guy. He's won a lot of different places, but they gave him the boot. Dude, that is really, really bad.
Yeah, this seems to be a trend, and it probably happens every single Major League Baseball year. I think it was the White Sox last year, but there is just a team that is just horribly bad. And this year, it's them.
Yeah, the Rockies told the White Sox, what is it? I hold my beer. I got this. Right. So
hold my beer.
They certainly did that and a little bit more. But you know what? They did beat the Padres on Sunday, and the Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks on Sunday 8-1. So with all that said, the Dodgers actually have the National League West lead again from San Diego. So the Rockies, who are horribly bad this year, did the Dodgers a favor on Sunday. So the Dodgers are back in first place.
Yeah, here we go. Dodgers still kind of doing their thing, right?
Yeah, they keep going on, and so are the Giants and so are the Padres. So this is far from being over, but it is nice to be in first place on a Monday morning. So I'm sure the Dodgers appreciate the terrible Rockies for actually doing something on Sunday. 7 wins in their first 40 games, man. It's hard to comprehend how bad that is.
Yeah.
So next up for the Dodgers, they're going to play the Athletics this week, I think beginning on Tuesday. And what's weird, Patrick, is the A's are not in Las Vegas yet, so they're not the Las Vegas A's. And they're certainly not the Oakland A's. And Sacramento has been, I guess, lukewarm at best in embracing the Athletics. Although they play in Sacramento, they're not the Sacramento A's either. In fact, if you look up the A's, they don't have a city attached to them. The Dodgers are simply playing the Athletics this week, and I just think it's kind of weird. They can't go back to Oakland. Sacramento doesn't really necessarily want them, I guess. They want to be the Sacramento A's, but the A's don't want to use Sacramento, and they're not Las Vegas yet, so it's very strange.
Yeah, they're kind of caught in that in-between thing. I heard it's kind of cool to go out to the stadium, though, and see real Major League Baseball kind of at a minor league park.
Yeah, the River Cats, man. The Sacramento River Cats up there. I think it's still Rayleigh Field. So, yeah, it's a cool deal. It's just weird that they're the only team in baseball, and they don't have a city or a state or a geographic region that they're attached to. They're just the Athletics. That's it.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, Oakland has been through it, right? The Warriors went across the bridge. The Raiders are in Vegas. The A's are gone. It's a tough time to be a kid in Oakland. I feel for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the Bay Area, you're going for all those San Francisco teams now, or maybe Sacramento if you want to go in that
Yeah.
direction too. So yeah, it's terrible what's happened to Oakland, but man, all their teams leaving, and now the A's are in this baseball purgatory. They're just kind of out there. The Athletics, so
Yeah.
the Dodgers and the Athletics this week. And finally, NBA playoffs, and there's a lot to get to here, Patrick. Okay, so we'll start in the West, man. Denver and Oklahoma City are even at 2. Oklahoma City won on Sunday, 92-87, big fourth quarter, leading the top-seeded Thunder to a victory. But this, of all the series, this feels like the knockout, drag-out series that we're going to see, kind of what Denver and the Clippers did. This feels like it's going to be a battle. This feels like a Game 7 series, kind of, to me at least.
Yeah, I kind of think OKC is going to pull this off because OKC seems to have woken up a little bit here. Pep's been saying they're the best team in the league for the whole year long. And then also, I feel like Nikola Jokic is kind of in a slump. A bad time for a slump kid.
Yeah, this is the time when you need your superstars to be superstars, right? With the season on the line, a playoff series. So I think the Joker will be back. We'll probably see him emerge as the best player in the series again. But yeah, Oklahoma City and Denver tied at 2, man. I just think it's going to be a real slobber knocker. I think, landing punches back and forth and who's going to be left standing at the end. I think it's going to be one of those series. We'll see. And I think Golden State and Minnesota, potentially could be the same way if Steph Curry is healthy. If Steph Curry is not healthy, we're finding out it's going to be hard for G State to beat the Timberwolves. Timberwolves are up 2-1 in that series.
It's not looking good. It feels like they don't want to admit how bad it is. But if you listen to Steph in the press conference, he kind of alludes to it like, I'm supposed to not even be on this thing possibly for a few weeks before I even think about playing. That set off a lot of alarms at Golden State.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, Captain Obvious over here, that Golden State needs their best player, the best three-point shooter in the history of the game, Steph Curry. And if he is out, dude, Minnesota is too talented. Remember, they went to the Western Conference Finals last season, and it sure looks like they're going to go back this season unless something miraculous happens and Steph Curry returns and to lead Golden State, because right now it feels like an uphill battle for the Warriors.
It's not good.
No, not good at all. And over in the East, kind of interesting as well. So the Knicks are up on the Celtics 2-1. Boston finally woke up and took a game against the Knickerbockers. But in the Pacers-Cleveland series, where Cleveland is the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, the Pacers are now up 3-1. The Cavaliers are on the brink of elimination. They lost on Sunday, 129-109. So Indiana, the Pacers, man, they are 1 game away from being in the Eastern Conference Finals, which is kind of weird to even just say this out loud, that they're that good.
Yeah, I mean, and all year long, it was like OKC and Cleveland are basically the best 2 teams. And then they kind of both went into a slump. And then OKC woke up, and then injuries are kind of ravaging Cleveland. Cleveland's about to go down. Wow.
Prepare yourself for a Minnesota versus Indiana, NBA Finals. Like that would be very, very strange, because there are still some big brands still in. I'd say Golden State's a big brand. Denver's a defending champion. Yeah. You got the Knicks and the Celtics still going at it, but to see I don't know, let's say Pacers and Timberwolves, not very sexy, right? To have an NBA Finals like that, but man, those are 2 teams that are having great seasons that we're probably not talking about enough.
I think you're kind of onto something, though. Could it be a Minnesota OKC collision in the Western Conference Final?
Yeah, it could very well be. You're right, Patrick. It could very well be. I wouldn't count out Denver yet because of that championship pedigree we like to talk about. But yeah, man, Minnesota looks really good, especially with Steph Curry hurting. And then the same thing with OKC, man. They're the number 1 seed for a reason. If they can just kind of rekindle that magic, they're going to be a tough out.
We will see what happens. That's the beauty of meeting with Pep once again on Thursday. We'll know a lot more, and of course, more will happen because, of course, we got that story lingering out there that Aaron Rodgers is waiting for the NFL to release their schedule.
I think it's Wednesday.
Wednesday. Could be big news on Thursday about him signing with the Steelers. That's why we talked to our guy, Pep. Tell him how to get your stuff.
Get my stuff. That's Inland Sports on Instagram, on X, on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. My stuff is called Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.